How's it going, everyone? So for today's video, I wanted to share with you my thoughts on the newest character, Ariel. And for today's drink, I'm going to be trying the Ito Ends unsweetened green tea. So supposedly this is 5 calories and I just want to try it. So let's see how it tastes. It's personally not my cup of tea, no pun intended. It tastes like diluted green tea, which I guess makes sense since it's unsweetened. But if you were trying to have something with zero sweeteners and you like green tea, this might be for you. But for me, it's personally, I'd rather just get coffee or something else. On a rating of 10, I would give it a 6 out of 10. Anyways, for those of you who just want the short answer, yes, I'd strongly recommend Ariel, especially over Zeus, whom I reviewed previously, just as I found Ariel to be much more useful and versatile in more areas of the game. Getting right into it, Ariel is a water elemental warrior who's a strong burst DPS, but also provides some team support with her skills. If you were unable to get characters like Ryu from the previous Denmachi collaboration, then Ariel is a must-have. In terms of damage, she's pretty similar to Efreet, and in some cases, even stronger. If you are starting the game brand new, you can't go wrong with either pulling Efreet or Ariel. And for now, I'm going to put her somewhere in between the S and A tier, either the top of A tier, if not the bottom of S. Now let's briefly talk about her skills. Her active skill is a strong burst skill that causes it to rain, dealing additional damage over time. Her second skill reduces the attack of enemies, while increasing her boss damage and crit damage in proportion to her level. This skill also notes her base attacks will deal damage equal to 30 times her attack stat, so like any other character, the more attack the better. All of this at the cost of her attack speed being slightly reduced. Her third skill essentially makes her tankier. This skill gives her damage reduction while increasing both her health and defense in proportion to her skill level and cooldown reduction. This skill also notes that each time her active skill is used, a shield is applied to the whole team in proportion to her attack and the number of warriors, on the team. This makes her not only useful for a majority of teams, but especially all warrior teams or all water teams. Her fourth skill makes it so that she takes more damage from leaf enemies, but increases her own defense for every water ally in the party. If the entire team is full of water characters, then this defense buff will be applied to the whole party. The second part of the skill also reduces the damage the team takes from water enemies, making her very useful, especially in water raids. Ariel's last skill reduces her evasion but increases her penetration and crit resistance in proportion to her level and cooldown reduction. This skill also increases her damage done to water enemies and ensures all her attacks crit. For most players, this skill will give her a lot of penetration, but you will likely need to equip her with penetration gear or improve your collection bonus and growth stones if you need more penetration on her. If you equip her with the Triana axe, that should be enough to give her at least 100% penetration fairly easily. Next, we'll talk about gear. I'll provide 2 common setups that you might use. One is meant for maximum damage, and the other setup strikes a balance between offense and defense. If you want maximum damage and need more penetration, I would recommend equipping her with the full witch set. If you already have 100% or more penetration on her without the witch set, then you can equip the full Achilles set to maximize her damage. Alternatives to this would be equipment sets that have active skill damage, such as the full despair set. For a more balanced setup with both damage and defense, you may do a combination of sets that provide at least 10% damage reduction and maximum attack. 3-piece offensive sets that provide 10% damage reductions include the Slasher set, Demon set, and the Achilles set. For the other 2 pieces, you can use any set that provides additional attack percent, penetration, or damage reduction, depending on what your circumstances are. The best weapon for many people to use on her would be the Triana axe. This is because many players won't have 100% penetration on her from her armors, so they would need the extra 50% penetration buff from this weapon. If the boss doesn't have penetration resistance and you already have 100% penetration from either armors, skills, or growth stones, then you can get more attack and boss damage from other weapons such as the Elaine or Dragon Blade. If you're just going for pure damage maximization, then you can equip the Excalibur on her if no one else is using it. This would give her the most amount of attack, since your Excalibur is likely refined for maximum attack percentage. Lastly, I'll talk about her performance in the different parts of the game. I'm going to rate her as 5 stars in nearly every area besides PvP. Because of her skills having synergy with most teams, including all warrior teams and all water teams, she would have great use in difficult boss battles, which span across raids, adventure mode, Dark Lord's Tower, Abyss, and guild territory. And with her strong active skill that causes AoE damage due to rain, she becomes very strong in slasher mode. And the only area she doesn't perform exceedingly well in is PvP. Because PvP does not utilize active skills, she isn't that special here. It's still better to use characters with passives that generate blocks for themselves and the team. In summary, Ariel is a force to be reckoned with, and this is coming from an endgame player such as myself who uses her quite often nowadays. She's great for all levels of the game and would definitely be one of the first characters I would recommend getting, especially if you're just starting out or have even been playing a while. That concludes my thoughts on her, and if you had any further questions, don't be afraid to ask. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Thank you again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.